What is up, everybody? Hi, it is your good friend, Charles Kelly, aka Turbo Thembo. Joey, yes, I am doing streaming now. This is my third stream in this kind of format-ish. Yesterday was kind of more of a short-form show. But how are you doing on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon? Like I said, I'm Charles, aka Turbo Thembo, and I have a packed show for you today. Holy crap. Our topics today include Kyle Brink, the executive director of Dungeons & Dragons, has made a new response earlier today. We're going to go through that and see if what they are trying to do would actually hold up in court. Friend of the show, George Santos, friend of the show, allegedly stole money from a dying dog. Microsoft and Amazon have announced huge layoffs today that may be signaling the recession. We're going to go through that. I'm going to spend a good amount of time editing the TTRPG version of The Weird after the workout. And of course, we're going to get a little bit of cardio in while playing Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Yesterday we got to the first dungeon, so I think today we may actually get through that, which I'm really excited about. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for telling me I look very good. I've been working out a little bit, especially this last week, and this show is partly focused on cardio workouts. And with that being said, if this is your first time here on the stream, welcome to the Hydration Hour. Over the next hour, we will go over the latest news while getting as hydrated as humanly possible before our workout. Our goal, as always, during this next hour is to drink about 50 ounces of water. 2 of these bad boys, we got these here, before the workout begins. So this is a great time for you at home to stay hydrated too. So do you have your water on you? Have you had much water today? Because I know you haven't. That's just how things work. In Joe Biden's America, you don't drink enough water. So does it follow? Okay, so is it followed by the P hour? No, we're not into water sports here on the Turbo Thembo Hydration Hour. We do go and use the restroom if needs be. As you probably heard at the beginning of the stream, there are a lot of really kind of serious things going on today. A lot of serious announcements. I'll try to break up a lot of the serious stuff with some fun stuff. But there's some serious shit that has gone down today, which, you know what? Let's just jump into it. First off, right off the bat, I do want to give you a little bit of serotonin that I got myself. So we're going to jump over here. So it is, in fact, Mlem's Day. Hello, Mlem's Day. Look at those good Mlems. Oh, hell yeah. People are posting the Mlems in the Twitter replies. Oh, my goodness. Anyways, now let's jump on to something a little bit more serious. Hoo boy. Okay. So, this broke on patch.com, an article from one of their staff members. Disabled veteran, George Santos took $3,000 from a dying dog's GoFundMe. 2 New Jersey veterans say that George Santos promised to raise funds for a life-saving surgery for a service dog, and then disappeared. If you weren't aware of George Santos, and it probably will go over that in the article here, this fine young gentleman has been caught lying about literally every aspect of his life, and he is now, um, you know, uh, a Republican in New York, and yeah, it's great stuff. I love this, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But let's get back into the article. In May 2016, Richard Ostoff was living in a tent in an abandoned chicken coop. So this was the veteran on the side of Route 9 in Howell, New Jersey, when his beloved service dog Sapphire, a veterans charity, gave the pit mix to Ostoff, a disabled veteran who was honorably discharged from the U.S. Navy in 2002. He told Patch. So, when Sapphire developed a life-threatening stomach tumor, Ostoff, now 47, learned the surgery would cost $3,000. A veterinary technician took Ostoff aside and told him, "I know a guy who runs a pet charity who can help you." His name was Anthony DeVolder. Now, if you aren't familiar with the lore with George, good old Georgie boy, this is his kind of pen name, kind of his other one of his many personalities that he goes by. And his pet charity was called Friends of Pets United, the vet tech told him. Anthony DeVolder is one of the names, and we talked about this before, the names that Long Island Republican Representative George Santos used for years before entering politics in 2020. Santos faces multiple criminal investigations after reports surfaced that he fabricated much of his resume during his congressional campaign. Many Democratic and Republican lawmakers on Long Island are calling for him to resign. So it goes over talking about like the GoFundMe, which raised over $3,000, and then Richard posted on Facebook pretty past that point, which was found over the last few days, that Anthony DeVolder, aka George Santos, allegedly George Santos, was scammed and stole all of that money from that GoFundMe, and the dog never got surgery. Cool job, dude. So Sapphire died January 15th, 2017, unfortunately. After being out of work with a broken leg for over a year, Ostoff couldn't afford the dog's euthanasia and cremation, he said. He had to panhandle. It's one of the most degrading things he ever had to do. So, the worst part about this, right, is it's not only how they say at the beginning, a disabled veteran, right, a homeless disabled veteran, right, and was given the information to somebody who had a charity who was, allegedly supposed to help out in these kinds of situations. And Mr. George Santos did not. So, God, this beautiful dog. Beautiful dog. Side character quest, thank you so much for following. Ty, how are you doing? You beautiful gentleman. So going through this a little bit further, I only talked to him 2 or 3 times on the phone, Ostoff said, guessing that over half of the donations came from people he knew. Joey, thanks for the sub as well, or the follow as well. On June 30th, 2016, he posted on Facebook, "We made the goal and then some." So, and then, like it said before, never heard back from George Santos. Gosh, this is great. So here's where I find this to be like the most like interesting aspect of this is it seems like, right, like politics in general, there are scammers across the board, but I think like the Republican Party even more so is so like brazen to lie and then not be held accountable for their actions. Yeah, it happens on the Democratic side too, but you don't hear about situations like this where somebody stole $3,000 from a homeless disabled veteran who is gaining that money for his dog who needed surgery for a tumor. You don't really see that, right? Right? It's not a thing. So seeing these kinds of things is it's great. It makes me want to. I've said this a few times now, but it makes me kind of want to run as a Republican. Just run as a conservative. lie to that audience and then never be held accountable. And I think, like, you know what? If people were to start doing that, I think it would do pretty darn well. So, yep. Oh, God. So, oh my God. So, this is like the text messages that he got from Anthony DeVolder. So basically, what happened, the last communication, it looks like Anthony DeVolder took the funds to help the next person in line because the dog wasn't a candidate for surgery, um, which. All right, it goes a little bit further. Santos said in the text message he would take Sapphire for an ultrasound, but Ostov couldn't come, and that it wouldn't be done at the New Jersey office recommended by the Howell veterinarian because they wouldn't accept his organization's funding method. Ostov doesn't know exactly what funding method Santos was referring to. This shit is so sad. Like, like the fact, like, yeah, fucking over people is one thing, right? But just like taking that and scamming a a a dog who needs surgery in a case like this that has like that's just monster level behavior. And yeah, I want to move on from this. This sucks. Um Next one also sucks too. So, next up, we've got Microsoft announced earlier today that they are going to be laying off 10,000 people, with Amazon also to be doing 18,000 people. So, yep. So this is. Let's just read through it. I think that's going to be the best. So, Microsoft and Amazon, two of the world's biggest companies, began cutting a total of 28,000 jobs on Wednesday in a post pandemic reckoning that has left almost no tech name unscathed. The software giant began notifying some of the 10,000 workers that they will lose their job this quarter, while its Seattle based neighbor and cloud rival, Amazon, started sending out emails to people in the US, Canada, and Costa Rica who are among 18,000 people whose positions will be eliminated. Both companies said that the painful measures were necessary to offset slowing sales and a possible recession that has made customers more cautious. The tech industry benefited during the pandemic from a surge in demand for computers, phones, software, and goods ordered online, leading to a frenetic pace of hiring. Salesforce announced earlier this month that it would also cut 10% of its workforce after acknowledging that its workforce nearly tripled in the past 4 years. Um, Facebook parent Meta also announced, and we had talked about that previously, about how Facebook was also laying a ton of people in the tech industry off. Speaking before the cuts were announced, Chief CEO Satya Nadella noted that the tech industry is going through a period of slowing growth and will need to adjust. And that's true. So I work in the tech industry as well. It's really interesting because you see like the big giant like tech giants who are laying off everybody. And up until probably like December-ish, right? It was, even though these companies were laying people off, there were still so many tech jobs that had opened up. So yeah, these huge companies were laying people off, but there were even more jobs across the board, and a lot of times even higher paying jobs. So when I was talking to people about these specific scenarios, it was always coming from a place of like, yeah, these layoffs are happening, but there's a lot of companies doing a lot of really interesting work in the tech space that it kind of seems like another 28,000 people who are no longer working. To be fair, this is also, if I'm not mistaken, not necessarily just U.S. based. So these jobs announced were also international, if I'm not mistaken. So we're not talking necessarily just American jobs, but 28,000 jobs, still a lot of people, right? So During the pandemic, there was a rapid acceleration. I think we're going to go through a phase today where there is some amount of normalization in demand, Nadella said in an interview at the at the WEF, right? So, um, there's been a lot of like really interesting like stuff coming out of WEF, and maybe we'll go over it if we've got time. We're already like 15 minutes in, so probably not, but maybe next time. We'll have to do more with less. We'll have to show our own productivity gains with our own technology. Microsoft said that it still plans to hire people in strategic competitive areas, and this is just PR because all companies say this, such as artificial intelligence. But many other divisions were losing staff, including its HoloLens goggles business, which is scaling back work on a headset for the U.S. Army that Congress declined to fund this year, according to people familiar with the matter. Now, going back to this right here, Microsoft is hiring a lot of people when it comes to AI. Especially for ChatGPT and OpenAI in general. So they have put in a ton of money to be able to utilize that tool. And what it looks like and what it sounds like from like internal conversations within Microsoft, they're going to be utilizing ChatGPT, which we used during the Sunday show to create the legally distinct version of Dungeons and Dragons, right? So they're going to be using that tool for Bing. So it's going to become what Bing, it's going to switch out what Bing is, and hopefully it'll make Bing a better, easier to use tool that works better and is more accessible and can really answer questions. Which, to be fair, right, Google kind of sucks in that realm right now. I think I was reading earlier last week that TikTok has become the #1 search tool across the globe, where Google and YouTube were always king, Google and YouTube. So Google and Google, right? But TikTok has surpassed that, and TikTok's search tool is terrible. But Google, for the most part, is even worse, right? Like if you go in, let's look up real quick. Let's do a little fun search. We're going to do a quick little search here. I'm going to bring this in here. When is season 5 of Stranger Things coming out? So like it has the information here, right? But then we go in and then we have like terrible article. These are all just like quick articles that if we probably click in here, it's really doesn't give much information overall. And this is what you see a lot of the times, where it's like, all right, you have to go through the entire article just to see that no, there hasn't been anything announced, or you don't have the information. And that's, for SEO purposes, but also like this garbage is what's going to the top of Google regularly, so people are utilizing Google less. Yeah, kind of went on a little tangent there, but Bloomberg reported, and Bloomberg reported earlier that the company plans to eliminate positions in a number of engineering divisions. The cuts extend to Microsoft video game division for some people at Bethesda Game Studios, a maker of Starfield, which is coming out, in a few months, as well as 343 Industries, the company behind Halo Infinite, were affected. This one makes a little bit more sense. 343, Halo Infinite performed really horribly financially for Microsoft, so I'm sure they probably reeling in that. Microsoft is eliminating 878 positions in Washington, according to a state employment filing. These are the kind of hard choices we have to make throughout our 47-year history, blah, 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 PR bullshit. Meanwhile, Amazon's worldwide retail chief, Doug Harrington, said that the retail giant's cuts were part of an effort to lower costs so we can continue investing in the wide selection, low prices, and fast shipping that our customers love. He said the company would continue investing meaningfully in growth areas, including groceries, Amazon's business-to-business sales program, and services for third-party sellers and healthcare. It's the same PR stuff, right? They're laying people off. They're going to possibly hire in the future in very key targeted positions. But, I mean, like, that's just how businesses work. If they're especially these large companies, of course they're going to hire in key positions. But, Microsoft will take a 1.2 billion charge in the second fiscal quarter related to the move, which will affect less than 5% of its workforce and shave 12 cents off earnings per share. Talking about shares, I actually want to look at this really quick. Let's look at the stock price for Microsoft. So, I mean, like, if you look at this, right, we're looking at Microsoft here. They are year over year, right? So this is last year. They're down quite a bit. I mean, but also with that's pretty consistent across the board. We're seeing like that 20% across the board, except for companies like Tesla, which is significantly worse than that. But there's, very specific reasons for that. But, these companies are seeing a lot of, decrease in their stock prices, and their valuations are based completely off of this, and what they do as a business are based almost entirely off of their shareholders. So yeah, it's really disappointing. I still see like a ton of jobs open, especially in the marketing space for tech companies, but engineering roles being cut significantly, coders being cut, unless you're working directly with AI. Sad shit, y'all. Cool. Move on to the next thing. We got a bunch of stuff. We're 20 minutes in. You know what? I've been talking for 20 whole minutes, and I have not. Oh, let's do this one. That one was the original intro. We don't want to cut to that one, but we need some water. You stay hydrated too. There's a lot of bad news out there. The way that we can deal with it the best is staying hydrated. Not really. It's not the only thing that we can do. All right, now I'm just gonna. All right, didn't plan on chugging it, but here we are. All right, let's jump into some more hot goss with Dungeons and Dragons, huh? So, Kyle Brink, who is the executive director of Dungeons and Dragons, released a new statement just a little bit ago, a few hours ago. We'll read through it. He makes some interesting points, and we'll talk about that. And we'll basically in the end, I'm going to say what I said on Sunday, which is, yeah, you can say all of these things, but in the end, the trust is lost by your audience, and that goodwill is lost. So all the words that you can say without any actions actually behind them. Anyways. Hi, I'm Kyle Brink, the executive producer on D&D. It's my team that makes the game we all play. That's debatable. I think, the players, create the game more than y'all do. But that's besides the point. D&D has been a huge part of my life long before I worked at Wizards of the Coast, and will be up for a long time after I'm done. My mission, and that of the entire D&D team, is to help bring everyone the creative joy and lifelong friendships that D&D has given us. These past days and weeks have been incredibly tough for everyone. As players, fans, and stewards of the game, we can't and we won't let things continue like this. I am here today to talk about a path forward. Today. It's taken this long to get a path forward. Fun times. Yeah, so exactly. God, I love that, They won, but so did we. That line was so funny in that first release, that first statement. Our language and requirements in the draft OGL were disruptive to creators and not in support of our core goals of protecting and cultivating an inclusive play environment and limiting the OGL to TTRPGs. Then we compounded things by being silent for too long. We hurt fans and creators when more frequent and clear communications could have prevented so much of this. Now, if you remember, what we talked about Sunday is that the draft OGL, right, the major players in the homebrew space were given contracts. So this draft OGL was basically pretty much done at that time, and this draft, as they keep calling it, was not a draft. They were trying to get these giant creators to get the sweetheart deal, as it was called, and so like this wording here, how they word things, is not it's still not truthful. It's still PR. I mean, like, and yeah, it's a company, so obviously they have to do the PR stuff, but it still doesn't get to the actual, meat and potatoes of this, which is like they are a giant company and they were trying to take advantage and try to get new revenue streams to make more money. Because they believed as a company, which we learned months ago, that Hasbro thought that Dungeons and Dragons was extremely undermonetized as a company. So this was part of that initiative to make as much money as humanly possible, and they got some backlash on it. So let's get back into it. Starting now, we're gonna have to do this better way. yes. More open and transparent with our entire community of creators, with the time to iterate, to get feedback, to improve. If this sounds familiar, it's because it's how we do it for the game itself. So let's do it that way for the OGL too. We'll listen to you, and then we'll share with you what we've heard, much like we do in our Unearthed Arcana and one D&D playset. So Unearthed Arcana, if you're not familiar, is like they release builds, like beta testing of like new classes or subclasses or spells or changes to the game that people can utilize if they want. It's not official yet, but it's yeah. And then one D&D is like D&D 6e basically. It's their new version of Dungeons and Dragons. So this will be a robust conversation before we release any future version of the OGL. Here is what you can expect. On or before Friday, January 20th, we'll share a new proposed OGL documentation for your review and feedback. So it's going to go to the community. This is going to be fun. I'm excited to stream on Friday. That's going to be very interesting to see how well it's received by the audience, much as we do with playtest materials. After you review the proposed OGL, you will be able to fill out a quick survey, much like Unearthed Arcana playtest and feedback surveys. It will ask you. That is a choice right there, allowing a bunch of angry nerds to fill out a survey. Hopefully it doesn't have any additional comments or questions. It's only 1 to 5, like, what did you think about these specific things? Because otherwise they're going to get some very interesting responses, I feel. It will ask you specific questions about the document include open form fields. Okay, so they are going to have open form fields. Ooh boy. This is going to be delightful. The survey will remain open for at least 2 weeks, and we'll give you advance notice before it closes so that everyone who wants to participate can come and complete the survey. Then we will compile, analyze, react to, and present back what we've heard from you. Finally, you deserve some stability in your life, and we're gonna give that to you. Here, we're gonna help you with stability here. We are committed to giving creators both input into and room to prepare for any update to the OGL. Also, there's a ton of stuff that isn't going to be affected by the OGL update. So today, right now, we will lay all of these areas that this conversation won't touch. Any changes to the OGL will have no impact on at least these creative efforts. Your video content. Well, thank you, Wizards of the Coast. That's real good. Thank you so much for me not being able to create D&D content. Whether you're a commentator, streamer, podcaster, live play member, or other video creator on platforms like YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok, you've always been covered by Wizards fan content policy. The OGL doesn't and won't touch any of this. Your accessories for your own content. No changes to the OGL will affect your ability to sell minis, novels, apparel, dice, and other items related to your creations, characters, and worlds. Non-published works, for instance, contracted services. You use the OGL if you want to publish your works that reference 5th edition content through the SRD. That means commissioned work, paid DM services, consulting, and so on aren't affected by the OGL. VTT, so virtual tabletop content. So any updates, so that's like Roll20 basically. So any kind of content that's like hosted via like virtual tabletops like Roll20 will allow any creator to publish content on VTTs and will allow VTT publishers to use OGL content on their platform. DM's Guild. Content you released on DM's Guild is published under a community content agreement with Dungeons Masters Guild. This is not changing. Nothing previous to OGL 1.A will be changed, and they're not going to be taking any of your revenue. And then you own your content. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for allowing me to keep my own content. Now, we talked before about how this doesn't necessarily matter, because yes, they're backtracking now, but who's to say 5-10 years down the road they don't try to change this again via higher ups at Hasbro coming down and making them change this. So it's one of those things where I'm very cynical about these changes here. But it is what it is. However, here's an interesting thing. So when it comes to like video content that was created, any homebrew content that was created, any minis or any kind of external content that was created with Dungeons and Dragons in mind, what if I were to tell you that the OGL is not a legally binding contract, that you could still create this content even if they were to create that original one, and you would still be legally fine? So I think this last bit, and we've got enough time to go through it. We're going to go through and watch a really awesome video by Legal Eagle, who kind of goes over the legalities of board games, really, and how it pertains to Dungeons and Dragons. Now, I do have some comments closer to the end of the video, and we'll go over that. But it's a really kind of like awesome video that we will watch together.
The deal. Pray they do not alter it any further. Because for years, Wizards of the Coast, which publishes Dungeons & Dragons, has operated under an open gaming license, an OGL, that allowed people to create and profit from unofficial content in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. Or does it? It's time to think like a rules lawyer. The idea is that the OGL is a legal framework that allows people to use the rules and ideas of the role-playing games to create their own works. And it was originally released in the year 2000s by Wizards of the Coast. And a lot of people have come to rely on the terms of the OGL to make and publish their own content under the aegis of Wizards of the Coast. But that was version 1 of the OGL. Now, according to a leak, version 1.1 of the OGL, which has not officially been adopted, makes huge sweeping changes that will affect anyone that makes content even related to Dungeons & Dragons. But this leaked version 1.1 update to the OGL is a mixed bag. It purports to crack down on sexist, homophobic, and transphobic content that is created with the Dungeons & Dragons name. It purports to grant a perpetual license to Wizards of the Coast for anyone that makes content using that license. It purports to require certain people who make content using that license to report that usage to Wizards of the Coast, and if you make over $750,000 dollars in revenue, you have to pay certain royalties up to 25% to Wizards of the Coast on certain marginal income. These are big changes. Now, it's important to distinguish the OGL from the actual Dungeons & Dragons rules. The Dungeons & Dragons operates under a set of rules that's up to version 5e at this point.
We're back.
And the OGL is not the Dungeons & Dragons rules, and generally speaking, those rules are
Where are we
found
dropping,
in the
gamers?
System Reference Document, the SRD. That's a 400-page document containing just about everything you need to know about playing D&D. The main benefit of the OGL, whether you're talking about version 1 or version 1.1, is that it allows people to use and reproduce the SRD, the rules. But for people who make content that just simply works with the rules but doesn't reproduce them, well, there's a big question about whether you need the OGL at all. Now, we'll come back to that later. Now, these sweeping changes caused a huge uproar among fans and content creators alike. But like I said, it's a mixed bag. On the plus side, it provides a relatively clear path to allow
So
almost
actually, I'm
anyone
going to
to
skip
create
past this point. This is stuff that we've already talked about. We're going to jump into the conversation with Matt Colville. If you're not familiar with Matt Colville, he does a lot of YouTube content and homebrew content in the space. He was actually featured many times on D&D content itself, like actually from Dungeons and Dragons. So we'll jump to him.
To teach people about the difference between copyright and trademark. So, win-win. But the original OGL has been around for a while, and it was intended to provide an open platform for players. And for some of the critical background on that history, I turned to the D&D expert and uber nerd, Matt Colville.
The products that they make for Dungeons and Dragons tend to sell best to players. Well, adventures don't make a lot of money because only one of the 4 or 5 players at the table buy them, but you still got to make them. So his argument was, why don't we open these rules and make it so that anybody can make products for us? And that.
Yeah. So, and then talking about this too, we go back to like the original leak that Hasbro was trying to monetize D&D in more specific ways. It really looks like because the DM is the one who buys books. One person out of the table will buy these books and then hand the information out. This was kind of in a way forcing people to individually, and same thing with 1D&D being more of an online service, forcing every single player to potentially buy into Dungeons and Dragons content. And we've seen that a little bit, especially when it comes to how microtransactions work on D&D Beyond. If you're not familiar, D&D Beyond is like the tool used to host a lot of like online content that is owned directly by Dungeons and Dragons and Wizards of the Coast. It wasn't originally. This is more of a recent purchase, but they've really gone into charging for each individual thing when it comes to the player classes, or charging a subscription. And we talked about that on Sunday. So let's jump back into it.
Way third-party companies will come along and they will make adventures for us. And they'll make other stuff too, but we don't care. And that way they'll support our product. And there was also some verbiage in there about how, and if those companies improve our rules and it's published under the OGL, then we can take those improvements, right? And then our game will improve.
Hydrate.
And that was a
very
egalitarian way of looking at things. And then fast forward and Wizards of the Coast releases a 4th edition, which was very controversial and alienated a lot of fans. And so they sort of freaked out and released a 5th edition. 4th edition wasn't released under the open gaming license. It was released under a different license called the GSL, which was...
Right. And they'll go into this too, like talking about this. So like the issues that we've run into with OGL 1.1 is something that have happened in the past with the GSL. So this is not Wizards of the Coast for a time to like overstepping boundaries when it comes to content.
Much more draconic and restrictive. And then 5th edition was released under the old OGL, which is much more open and broad and empowers people to make the stuff they want. Privately, the reason Ryan said he wanted to talk the board into opening D&D was because he did not like the idea that any one company would control this hobby. Like he was like, I think D&D should belong to everybody, and this is the best way I can think of to make that happen.
And then corporations bought the game, and then other corporations bought that corporation, and now they're trying to make as much money as humanly possible from it instead of being, having the game be about the players.
D&D is, I think, more of a folk tradition and a hobby than it is a classical brand. And it has always relied on the people who play it more so than any other game I can think of, except, perhaps like Skyrim, right? Where there's so many mods for it. It's always relied on the audience to create content for it. Things like The Thief.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Bethesda also have like a scandal where they were trying to charge people for mods? Wasn't there something along those lines? I'll look into it too.
Come from people playing in Los Angeles and coming up with a new class and literally calling up Gary Gygax on the phone and saying, hey, we got this cool idea. And he's like, oh, that's cool. I'd probably do it like this. And all of a sudden there's a thief in the game, right? So that relationship between the players and the people making the game has always been a lot more gray and weirdly nuanced than almost any other game I can think of.
Okay, so with that background out of the way, let's talk about the difference between copyright and trademark. I promise it will be worth it. Now,
Joey says, this sounds familiar, but it was very short-lived. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, it just came to mind when I was coming to this. I'm looking up it right now. It looks like the paid mods were removed by Valve specifically and not necessarily Bethesda. And that kind of makes... and there was also, like, an issue with Nexus mods, but... yeah, I don't think that necessarily... Looking into this, I don't think it's necessarily like the same situation here.
Now, copyright is a certain legal protection for expression. When you have an original work of authorship, whether it is a movie or a novel, and you affix it to a tangible medium, well, then copyright will protect that expression. Copyright does not protect ideas, it does not protect processes, it protects expression. Whether that expression is in the form of words, or a painting, or a video, copyright will provide quite a lot of protection. Trademark is about serving to identify the source of a particular product or service to distinguish that product from other sellers in the marketplace. The idea with trademark is you don't want consumers confused. You want people to actually know what they're buying at the time of sale. And trademark is a little bit different in that it can last forever. As long as someone is actually selling the trademark good, that trademark will continue for the protection of consumers. Now, Dungeons & Dragons as a tabletop RPG product involves both. It contains copyrightable pieces of expression, as well as trademarkable elements that are meant to identify it in the marketplace.
So he'll go into the differences between copyright and trademarks here, and I think we'll go back to it, but I think he's wrong. Well, I'm telling the lawyer that he's wrong, but I think that there's some considerations that weren't necessarily taken into account when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, when it comes to homebrew content, and we'll go over that here in a bit.
Let's use a board game that everyone is familiar with, Monopoly, as an example here. The name Monopoly is trademarked. There is a long history of the Monopoly trademark that dealt with years and years of litigation. Let's put that aside for the moment. The logo of Monopoly is also trademarked. The official Monopoly board, the actual squares and everything on it, that's copyrighted. That is expression. It's as if it were a painting. And then sometimes within board games, you have specifically detailed characters that can be copyrighted. For example, in Monopoly, Rich Uncle Pennybags is a copyrighted character. And in Clue, you have Colonel Mustard. Those are copyrighted characters.
I'm only a guest.
But the name of the game, Monopoly, is trademarked. So you can't go out there and create a game called Monopoly and sell it, even if the rules of the game are completely different. But what about the opposite? What if you created a game that had a different name but followed the same rules as another game? Well, that takes us to the fundamental flaw of this whole entire controversy, which is that you can't copyright the rules to a game. You can't copyright a process. Now, this goes back to an extremely old copyright Supreme Court.
Going back to the ChatGPT on Sunday, where we created the legally distinct version of Dungeons & Dragons called Realms of Adventure, I think is what it was called. The rules were basically the same. So I was very surprised with that with ChatGPT, and I was like, this is probably not necessarily, truthful to actually making it legally distinct. But we'll go into this a little bit more with this video. Rules for a game aren't necessarily something that you can copyright or trademark.
court case in the late 19th century called Baker versus Selden, where someone tried to copyright a particular method of bookkeeping. In that case, a guy created a method of bookkeeping, i.e. accounting, and published a book about it. The book did okay, but it really took off when another person created another book of basically just forms that used the same methodology, but didn't credit the original person. The original author sued, but the Supreme Court said that there was no copyright available because you can't copyright a method. And that idea was later codified in the Copyright Act of 1976, which said, quote, "In no case does copyright protection for an original work of authorship extend to any idea, procedure, process, system, method of operation, concept, principle, or discovery, regardless of the form in which it is described, explained, illustrated, or embodied in such work." So, for example, if you wondered why everyone could play the game Words with Friends on Facebook, even though it was an exact clone of Scrabble, well, that's the reason. Scrabble can't have copyright protection over the rules of the game. It can only really get trademark protection over the name Scrabble, not the rules contained therein. Now, there is a little bit of a wrinkle here in the sense that if you had a manual of rules, you do get a thin copyright over the exact expression over the rules as laid out in that rule book. However, you don't get a copyright over the rules and processes themselves. So in a sense, you can have something that has exactly the same mechanics, the same processes. It just can't necessarily have the exact same expression if you were to reproduce the rules perfectly. But that's kind of a minor quibble. So how
Foreshadowing for our future conversation. It's not very minor. We'll get back to it.
does this relate to the Wizards of the Coast update to the OGL? Well, I think, and I could be wrong, that Wizards of the Coast is assuming that anytime anyone creates any content that happens to use the rules of...
This is an aside. His editor is wild. It does a lot of stuff in this. It's just like little bits that probably take too much time to create. And I, as an editor, I appreciate it. So, Legal Eagles editor, here's a thumbs up from one editor to another for stupid bits that last on a screen for 2 seconds.
Of Dungeons and Dragons that is covered by the OGL. I don't think that's the case. Now, this is not legal advice. Your mileage may vary, but as we discussed, you can't copyright the rules. You can't copyright the methodology and processes. And that takes us to the thing that no one is talking about. Here's part of the secret. The original OGL kinda sucks, and here's why. The main benefit of the OGL was that it allowed people to include the SRD, the system reference document, in their material. If your material doesn't require a reprinting or quoting of the SRD or the 5e rules, then you probably don't need the OGL. The original OGL allowed people to use what it called, quote, open game content, meaning, quote, the game mechanic and includes the methods, procedures, processes, and routines to the extent such content does not embody the product identity. Now, it did not allow people to use, quote, product identity, meaning, quote, product and product line names, logos, identifying marks, including trade dress, artifacts, creatures, characteristics, stories, storylines, plots, thematic elements, dialogue, incidents, language, artwork, symbols, designs, etc., etc., etc.
So you can't use language, artwork, symbols, designs, depictions, likenesses, and we'll go back. But that's where I think this struggles quite a bit.
So based on what we've already discussed here, I'm not sure that there was much benefit to the original OGL. It mainly allowed you to use stuff that you were already allowed to use, unless you wanted to actually quote the expression that was found in the SRD itself. And the new OGL does basically the same thing. The leaked OGL allows licensed people to use, quote, licensed content. It says usable D&D content, quote, licensed content. This is Dungeons and Dragons content that is included in the SRD version 5.1, including basic game mechanics, a curated selection of classes, monsters, spells, and items that allow you to make content compatible with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And then the new OGL goes on to say, not usable D&D content, quote, unlicensed content. This is Dungeons & Dragons content that has been or later will be produced as official, that is released by Wizards of the Coast or any of its predecessors or successors, and is not present in the SRD version 5.1. Unlicensed content includes things like the most famous Dungeons & Dragons monsters, characters, magic spells, and things related to the various settings used in Dungeons & Dragons official content over the years. What the old open licensed content referred to as, quote, product identity. So both OGLs purported to let you use game mechanics of Dungeons and Dragons, and in my view, that's stuff that everyone was always allowed to use. But of course, the benefit of the OGLs, whether it's version 1 or version 1.1, is that it provides certainty. So there's that. But let's differentiate between two different types of content. In one bucket, you'll have what I'll call reproduction content. And in the other bucket, you have what I would call homebrew content. In this first reproduction bucket, you have things that would probably be considered from a copyright perspective, derivative works. That is, works that are based on a copyrighted property that Wizards of the Coast owns. So for example, if you made a t-shirt that features a character that is based on an official Wizards.
The editor photoshopped the Legal Eagle's face on Strahd. It's very good. It's very good.
Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and you
That
put
shirt
that on
looks
a
like it would
t-shirt,
be
even if you paint it
miserable to
yourself,
wear,
well,
though.
that's probably a derivative work, and you need to get the permission of Wizards of the Coast. And to their credit, Wizards of the Coast has a fan art policy that allows fans to create fan art. And this is on their website, and I don't think it's changed. But also in this bucket is stuff that reproduces the SRD. Remember, I said that they do have a copyright over the actual exact wording that's in the SRD. And recall that both the original OGL and version 1.1 allow people to reproduce the SRD. So if your livelihood relies on actually reproducing the expression of the SRD, you would need to abide by the terms of the OGL. And I don't think that has changed. And maybe you want to quote large sections of the SRD to put it into a reference manual, or maybe you want to put the entire SRD into a PDF along with your original content. Say if you created an entirely new set of rules, but it starts with a basis of the SRD and you don't want to have people referencing back to the old SRD, well, that is probably covered. And to their credit, both versions of the OGL allows people to do that if you want to quote the SRD. It creates a pathway for that. But this reproductive bucket consists of things that are based on things that Wizards of the Coast can actually copyright. In the second bucket, and this is the thing that I think most people are upset about, would be homebrewed adventures and campaigns whose only connection to Wizards of the Coast is the fact that they use the rules in Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. So this is where I'll kind of like jump in, and then I'll let the video play out after this. But there's something to be said about the legal gray area a little bit for terms, especially like rolling for initiative or terms that Dungeons and Dragons uses very specifically that could potentially be trademarked. So when you're creating this homebrew content and you're linking back saying that it can be used for D&D, can you actually use terms like that? Yeah, you can use the rule set, but can those exact terms that could potentially be, copyrighted, can those be utilized? And that's, I think, where maybe he'll do an update. I don't know. We'll see.
5e. In this bucket, I'm kind of thinking about the things that you see on Critical Role or Dimension 20, where they create a campaign that is 100% original. The characters are completely new. The settings are completely new. And the only connection that these campaigns have to Dungeons and Dragons and Wizards of the Coast is that they rely on the rules that are set out in Dungeons and Dragons 5e. As we discussed, I don't think Wizards of the Coast has much protection over the rules themselves, the processes and methodologies contained in the Dungeons and Dragons rules. So if you create an otherwise original campaign where the only connection is the fact that it uses the rules that are set out in D&D 5e, I don't think that runs afoul of the OGL. In fact, I don't think you need permission from Wizards of the Coast in any case. Even if you videotape and live stream that campaign, I don't think you need their permission. Because at the end of the day, Wizards of the Coast doesn't really have any kind of IP protection over the rules themselves. Now, admittedly, there's a lot of gray area here because it's not as simple as one bucket for fan art and one bucket for homebrew. Wizards of the Coast in D&D has all kinds of different characters. Some are pre-made. Now, arguably, those characters are often in the service of the mechanics of the game. They define the strength or speed or dexterity of these particular characters. But there's also backstory there. So does that create the kind of character that is protected like Colonel Mustard or James Bond? Or is that simply a rule in the game that functions within that rule-based universe? That's a tough question. But I'm also skeptical that the changes to the OGL affect virtual tabletops or Kickstarters as well. Again, the virtual tabletops are basically using the mechanics of the rules themselves, which I don't think Wizards of the Coast has much protection over. And same with Kickstarters over original campaigns and adventures. Again, if you're creating an entirely original world that just simply happens to use the rules of Dungeons and Dragons, I'm not sure that there's much that Wizards of the Coast can do about that. Though at the same time, if you are trying to do a Kickstarter over something that Wizards of the Coast actually has protection over, if you wanted to crowdsource a movie based on the mythos and lore of Dungeons and Dragons, that probably is going to be covered by the OGL. Though another gray area where I'm not sure where a court would come down would be, say, live streaming a playthrough of an official Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Obviously, Wizards of the Coast publishes a number of official Dungeons & Dragons campaigns, and if you live streamed you and your friends playing through that, that is using official Dungeons & Dragons content over which they do have the copyright. That's a tough call. Though I would say that's analogous to live streaming a playthrough of a video game, which is also kind of a gray area. A video game is copyrighted. And it's an open question whether your playing through it is adding enough original content to be covered by fair use. And the same would go for playing through a Dungeons & Dragons official campaign. Though I do think that is a separate question from the kind of fully original homebrew type of situation that we were just talking about. Now, if you are a big player in the space, like Critical Role or Dimension 20, there might be some true advantages to making sure that everything is officially licensed by Wizards of the Coast, and they might not be able to avoid it. And certainly, if you are going to create your homebrews that are not officially licensed, you can't say that they are officially licensed, and you probably can't use the name Dungeons and Dragons, except in a nominative or descriptive fair use way, in the sense that you might be able to say something like, this campaign is compatible with Dungeons and Dragons, because even with trademark restrictions, you can describe a thing by its official name, but you're likely to be able to compare stuff and say that this is compatible with the rules of Dungeons and Dragons. You're just not allowed to say that this is from Dungeons and Dragons or somehow officially licensed. Anyway, that's just a theory, a game legal theory. And of course, the situation has now changed. Wizards of the Coast released a statement on D&D
we talked
Beyond.
about this. Yeah, so I think like final thoughts on this, and I want to know kind of what you guys think of. We'll probably talk about that in the next section once we jump into playing Wind Waker. The legal gray area of this is like, I think like when it comes to like stuff like that where it's in that gray area, you run into situations where like it only takes one time for Hasbro to send lawyers and a cease and desist and take, a small creator to court to really to really kind of make everybody, get in line with them. And it worries me. Like Joey said earlier, talking about Nintendo, right? Nintendo has a notorious habit of the moment somebody says something negative about their games or they're doing something not in the way that they like, they'll DMCA and take everything down. They've done it with reviewers, right? There's been many times where they stop working with reviewers and stop sending them like copies of games just because they've given a negative review on something, or they've taken down entire channels that have uploaded classic music from Nintendo that hadn't been necessarily released anywhere. It's all of these like small situations, and it only takes one, because even if it's this gray area, and even if there's like a case for this falling under fair use, you still have to argue that in court, and smaller creators wouldn't necessarily be able to deal with that. So it's my final thing. We're gonna take a quick little break. I would love to hear what you guys think in the chat. We're gonna be back in about 5 minutes with some Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and some cardio. Did you drink your water? I sure have. All right. See y'all in a second. Hello, gamers. Welcome back. I just want to check some levels here, make sure that we're all good to go. Looks like we're good. I'm going to also try something new today, right? So, today with our workout, I'm going to also throw on my phone. We'll do it next time. It doesn't look like it's in a good place to do it. But I want to try some other platforms, see if I can stream to TikTok. I've got like weirdly 13,000 followers on TikTok, which just blows my mind, right? And I was like, you know what? Maybe we should stream to them as well. Get going. But basically, we're going to do an hour of cardio. We're going to jump in here. Probably, so we'll go 5 past the hour. We'll make sure that we're staying hydrated. We'll get through, and hopefully we're going to clear this first boss, this first dungeon. So, I just want to check real quick. How does everything sound? Can you hear everything okay? I want to make sure that on your end, it doesn't sound like there's, like the music's overpowering me, or there's not enough music. Yesterday on the stream, when I was streaming it, the music was really quiet from the game. So we just want to make sure that that's kind of fixed as well. One thing that I also want to do, so this is a new stationary bike. One thing that I really want to do is get better like footrests, because these are just very, very rough and they're very plasticky. I want something with a little bit more give, but you know, it is what it is. So, oh goodness, let's just. Cool. I saw that somebody followed while I was away. Thank you so much. I didn't see the name. I apologize. If you say hi in the chat, I will definitely give you a shout out. Alright, so this first dungeon, we're at Dragon Roost Island, which if you're not familiar with the game, is an island right off of the first area that you kind of land after your first kind of like stealth mission. And there is this giant dragon at the top who's very angy. This dragon, he an angy boy. And I'm kind of doing spoilers here, but the reason why he's super angy is somebody is pulling on his tail underneath. So we're gonna go save our boy. So if this is your first time to like kind of the cardio section of this, we're trying to keep our heart rate above 120 at all times, because that's a good place. But goal is to hit around 140 overall. So this is also a good time for For you, if you'd like to join, you are more than welcome to. I would love to hear from you. See what you think. But this is kind of like the fire temple, right? And we'll experience that here in a second. But everything in this space is all definitely built around fire. So now we see it here. What it's wanting us to do is light these guys over here. And get number 1, number 2. Whew. So this is my 4th time working out this week, which is crazy for me. So my legs are still a little sore, but we're gonna push through. We got a small key, hell yeah. Get it, Link. I'll just try to get some extra stuff here. Now, if you've checked out the stream before, you'll probably, and if you've played through Wind Waker before, you'll probably get really frustrated with me because even though this is my favorite Zelda game of all time, I suck at it. And I don't remember where anything is. But to be fair, a lot of the things that they want you to do are very strange, especially once you get towards the end game when you're trying to collect the pieces of the Triforce. It gets a little funky, but we'll see if we can continue. But the goal today is just to get through this dungeon if we can. Oh. So everybody in the chat, if you're able to say hi, I would love to say hi to you. But I would also love to know, like, what's your favorite Zelda game? If it's Twilight Princess, I will ban you from my Twitch. So just keep that in mind. Breath of the Wild is a great choice. I wouldn't say it's necessarily it's very perfectly rated, and I understand why people love that game, and I love it too. I've spent probably 200 hours in Breath of the Wild, which is definitely more than I've spent in this game. Probably I've beaten this like 3 or 4 times, and the game lasts like 25 hours, right? But yeah, to be fair, this is more straightforward than Breath of the Wild is, and Breath of the Wild really is a slow game overall. So we're gonna check in. Heart rate is about at 100, so we're getting up there. My resting heart rate is around 70 on average, so we're building, we're getting there. So after this too, right after the hour of cardio, I'll be on the stream for another hour, and with that, it's probably going to be a little bit more than an hour, to be honest. I'm going to be spending some time working on, oh my goodness. All right, Choo Choo, get out of here. Probably be spending a little bit more than an hour because I do want to do a good amount of work on the TTRPG of the Weird, which, if you're not familiar with, I and a few close compatriots, a few close friends, are building a TTRPG based on the Powered by the Apocalypse system that's very much X-Files and Twin Peaks esque. It's very low magic for the players, so the players get a lot more like interesting things to do than like a Monster of the Week Powered by the Apocalypse game, where that's really focused on killing the monster and then just being done with it, right? But oh, that's right. Gotta grab the big sword, and that'll cut it through. But yeah, we're the game. The bones of the game is in there, but tonight I really want to focus more on like the items section, which I feel is like the part of the game that's lacking the most overall. But overall, it's in a very good spot. And what's nice is you can get it for free. So if you go to itch.io, right, you can look up The Weird or Join The Weird. Or if you go to the jointheweird.com, there's a link directly to it. And whew, yeah, you can get the game for free. So pretty snazzy stuff. So these Choo Choo Jelly, if you're not familiar with the game, if I'm not mistaken, allow you, like, later on, once you can, like, create stuff, you can use them to build health potions, which is really cool. So we need to do that. Hell yeah. All right. And we're back in that same room that we were in originally. Oh. Oh, goodness. All right, and our heart rate, 110. We got a heart rate of 110. So, another thing that I've wanted to do for this part of the stream, right, is get like a heart rate on the screen itself. The tool that allows you to do so is either very expensive, or you have to have like an Apple Watch, which I do not have. And it's one of those things where it's like, all right. So maybe down the road I'll have a heart rate on there, because I would like that, because I think it's good information, but don't have that currently. I'll speed things up a little bit more. Whew. And what I really like about this dungeon too, and just like Wind Waker in general, is like the dungeons weren't like they're not like other dungeons, right? Legend of Zelda dungeons. They really allow for like more dynamic, like height and stuff like that. And they also do stuff like this where like you're actively going in and outside of the dungeon, which kind of like pops in a little bit in Twilight Princess, but it really, outside of like the top-down like Game Boy games, really wasn't necessarily a thing. Maybe like the sand temple in Ocarina of Time, that was a little bit like that. I would say like that may be somewhat similar, but these dungeons really kind of like do fun and funky things, even though there's just a few of them. It's pretty good. All right, so we are looking for a bomb. All right, is it on the other side of that? Let's see. Unsidle. And just wait for it, because I'm sure if I go now, it's gonna hit me. Whew. I'd love to jump in here too and just say, like, if you're not following me, I'd love to follow. Still pretty new on this channel here. Not new to streaming, and not necessarily new to this kind of content, but for Twitch specifically, don't really have an audience yet. But in the end too, right? Like, my goals with this channel aren't necessarily focused entirely on like Twitch growth. My goals, right, are to really hone in and get some exercise and force myself to do so on a regular basis. And, you know, what's the best way to do that than to make content? Yeah. Take that bomb. All right, we're at 140 heart rate, so we're at a good spot. This is kind of where I want to be. And if y'all are working out too, let me know, because I would love to hear from you about like what you're doing. All right, we'll do that. We'll do that, and then we'll do that. And yeah, I mean, like, if you want to work out with me too, right? I've got my Twitch schedule on the... Oh, what do we got? What are you telling me, old man? Filthy thieving rats. Get out of here, rats. Whew. So yeah, definitely working out so regularly is something that I'm not so used to whatsoever. So it's nice though. It's nice to really yeah, hell yeah. It's nice to get that cardio. For me, like, I have found that I'm like a lot more regular when it comes to my like ADHD, especially when I'm, you know, taking my meds, which is very nice. And then also, just like general stamina. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling peppy. Got some pep in my step. I have this weird habit of doing these streams so late at night. Hold on real quick. Oh, hello. Azumi Tacos. Aaron, hey, hello. Hey, Aaron. Hello. Let's see. Exactly. So I'm jumping into the chat. For some reason, it wasn't scrolling for me. But as JV said, you can support The Weird on Patreon. You can get the game there with all the additional characters that aren't released in the free version. You get all the updates first. And then we got like a bunch of really cool content for you. So like you get the podcast that we do alongside of it for you get it a week early, which is always beneficial. I love podcasts. Getting them a week early, especially right now, is always a good thing because we're getting really close to the end of our first season of the show. So getting ahead of spoilers, I think, is very beneficial, especially like with what's coming up here soon. Oh, dang. And it's a good-ass podcast. We were nominated for multiple awards this year, which is pretty cool. I was up against Jeff Goldblum in one category. Not that like I was ever going to possibly win against like the people who we were up against, but it's good to be, you know, it's the thought that counts, you know? All right, come here, bat. There we go. All right. Yeah, for some reason the chat is not loading for me. So one of the things that I'll definitely need to do here in a second, probably when I take my first break, heart rate is at 150 right now, is to get things like set up a little bit better so that I can see the chat and have it load properly. We had a lot of like internet issues earlier in the day because of how much snow we got, and that really caused a lot of problems with a lot of the tools that I use for things. And I had to like relog into basically everything. Whew. All right. Yesterday I got a ton of sweat. I'm already feeling it. It's not as much as yesterday so far, but I think we'll get there. All right, so this right here is the pots allow you to travel between like the beginning of it and the end. So like if we were to stop right now, this right here would be a good time to take a little bit of a break. And honestly, I think that's where it's gonna be. So I'm gonna grab some water, switch things up real quick, and go from there. Jeff Goldblum is a sex pest? What the hey? You better send me a link to that. Ma'am. All right, so let me get something else up here. Go back over here. Go to Twitch so we can see this stream. But I'm not going to play it because I'm worried about my internet connection. By the way, how is the stream looking? Any kind of like drops or anything like that you're running into? I think like from what I'm seeing in all of my information, it looks like overall that things are in a good place there. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one more thing so I can read the chat a little bit better. And I'm sweating on the microphone while I do this, so you're welcome, I guess, to see that. I give this for free, people. You get to see this for free. Feed her on Patreon, though. Whew. All right, so we're gonna get back to it. I heard that there was one of the what are they called? Stalfos, the bats, right? I heard one. Yeah, I see ya. There you are. Oh, where are you going? I'm gonna run this way. I don't want to fall to my death. So, and then make sure I'm going the right way. Yep. All right. Oh. All right. So, we've got something that we need to light here. Oh. Yeah, how's the stream looking? Does it seem like the bitrate seems a little funky, but overall it seems fine. I've got like a bunch of new stuff coming in too to like give me a much better connection, because right now my router is like completely in a wholly separate part of the house. So I am doing this off of the interwebs, but overall I think like I'm getting a pretty good connection because I'm using the whatever Wi-Fi 5 connection. But I'm going to try to make it as latency free as possible. I've got some tools that are coming in that apparently pull the Wi-Fi or like the internet information through your like electrical socket, so like you can plug in you can plug this in like next to your router, right, and then have like the internet connection going directly to that, but then also have that travel over the electricity in your apartment and then get that connection. And I think that rules. I think that's super cool. So what the hell am I missing here? There's like a secret here, looks like. There's a door right here. Maybe I have to go back out this way and then... Oh, no, I'm stuck in here. So, what do we do? What do we do, folks? What do you think? I'm not seeing the next steps. Whew. Ooh, boy. Alright, so I can't go out that way. I'm stuck in this room. I could pick this up and maybe swing it somewhere? No, that's not it. There's like something in here. I'm wondering if there's like a little thing that I need to hit overall. Let's see. Oh, hello, that's what it is. It's you. It was always you. You're just a sneaky boy. And then that's gonna allow us to open up the door, maybe? No? Really? Maybe there's more? Yeah, that's what it is. Oh. Okay, well, we did the thing. Heart rate's at 130 right now, so we're gonna pick up the speed a little bit. We're gonna pick it up. And like I said before, we're gonna spend some time today updating the weird. A good amount of time actually doing it, so I'm excited for that. Come on over here, bud. Come on. Come say hi. I don't want to come to you because I know what happens. You turn into a little ball. Come on. All right. Let's... Yep, and then he comes back up. And then we wait until he shows his face. Oh my god. Come on. Come on. Show your face. Come on, buddy. Yeah, I think we have to do it 3 times. Ugh. Annoying as hell. Maybe he's stuck under there now? Okay, alright. Alright. We're good. Good space. We haven't lost much health. And we've got... fuck. Come on. Come on. Show your face to me. Alright. Got this. Alright. While we're waiting for this guy to do his thing, we're going to speed up a little bit. Try to get that heart rate up a little bit more. We're at 140 again. Hell yeah. Oh. Wait. It's always 3 in a Zelda game. What the heck? 4. Nope. Come on. Come on, bucko. Come on. Come on. Open your face. Yes. Nope. No? Really? Okay. Get it, I guess. Come on. Whew. Oh my god. Oh, come on. I wonder if I can just do this and just run past, right? I've been fighting this guy for too long. We're gonna do this. We do that. Oh! No! Ugh. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, why don't you come over here? This is silly. Oh, I'm gonna check here real quick. Come on. No? Alright. Alright. Got a shit ton of sweat. Oh, damn. Oh my god, this is comical. Alright. Come on. Come on. Let's do it. Oh my god. Ugh. Come on over here. You come over here. Come on. Come on. No. Okay. All right. Come on, bucko. Now turn around and look at me. Thank you. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is just silly. Ah. Eat my whole ass. Aha. Fucking finally. The hardest boss in the game. Right there, folks. Hell yeah. Alright. Alright, still at 140. I guess I had a lot. I wasn't doing much of a workout, but I guess like I just had so much anxiety from that fight. A very difficult fight, you know? Alright. Give me some health. Give me some health. Give me some health. Give me some health. Well, fine. I'll just do that. Oh, another one. Hell yeah. Good, because I don't want to do that shit again. Alright, we're getting close to the item that we get, which is the grappling hook, which is a dope item in the game. Alright. Heart rate's still at 130 now, so it has lowered a little bit. You don't have to talk to the big guy. Oh shit. Okay, it's just one of these fights. Oh, medley! Oh, damn. Ooh. Come on. Somebody. And there's gonna be more guys that fly in. Oh, one of the big guys. Come on. Come on. Yeah. All right, gamers, we did it. We did it, gamers. We're at 35. So, got a full 30 minutes so far. We're halfway through. We're getting the item right now. This is perfect. Look how angry he is. Hell yeah. Yeah. Grappling hook. what? Like, honestly, I'm feeling pretty good overall. I was gonna say maybe taking like a little bit of a break, but like I think I can power through right now. We'll see. Oh yeah, we have to figure out how to get up there. Just through here. Can we do this? Yeah. I know. God. I get it. This is game for. Oh, that's not it. This is. Oh, how do we do it? No. Oh, did we just press it twice? It said it in the thing, didn't it? And I'm just like fucking around. Yeah, there we go. Hell yeah. Alright. I'm not moving enough. You keep moving. Okay, cool. So, next step. We go this way instead. And this will take us back to that, like I think one of the lower middle floors, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, bud. Goodbye. Can't surprise attack me. Who do you think I am? Alright. Heart rate's at 130. I feel like it's nothing whatsoever, so feels good. Feeling good, y'all. We're feeling good, gamers. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you have to cut this, right? Does that sound right? Yep. Was right. Okay. Whew. We got a joy pendant. Alright. So then we can come back up through this way if we need. But our next goal is to find the boss key, which is going to be on the first floor. Okay. Nice. Oh. Well, damn. Oh. Alright. My sweat has now reached my belly button. It's a good ass workout here, folks. So if this is your first time to the stream, I do not do the third part of the of this stream. This is just like the fun hangout time. It's all after I take a shower, so you don't need to worry about me being super stanky throughout the rest of the stream. I wouldn't do that to you, and I wouldn't do that to me, because that sounds like a nightmare, just feeling gross nonstop. Alright, we're gonna go. Oh yeah, that's right. We use it, then we can turn it around, and then we can go. Oh, this game, like, I mentioned it yesterday, but, like, this game is so timeless. Like, I know, like, when it was released, and I you know, I've talked about this before, too, but, like, when it was released, the game was, like, everybody hated the art style, because of just, like, not feeling like it fit, like, what Zelda was to people, right? And honestly, to be completely honest, I think this is like the most, like Zelda game, period. Okay. Okay. All right, gamers. Let's bring him over here. You come on over here. Come on. Come on. And then I think we can pick him up. And then bring him back over. And we're just going to drop, which is ZR. Oh. Hell yeah. It is gamer to attack the one-eyed crab thing. You gotta game it up. You gotta be the perfect gamer. Oh. Don't you dare. What I found, I mean, like, this is one of the reasons why I've started doing this stream, is like I found it so much easier overall to work out when I'm also playing video games. It moves so much quicker so that I'm not like even like more so than like watching a movie or anything like that. Like I've never felt like working out has gone by as quick as playing Zelda here with y'all. Time moves fast when I'm with you. All right. Yeah, we're going down here. All right. You keep moving my legs. All right. We're still above 120, so we're good. 125 right now, so things are not too shabby for heart rate. I use Fitbit to track my workouts, and if I'm above 140, I get double points. Ooh, what does that mean? Double them. You get more of those points. You know, you always need more points when you're working out. But I think with this stream, this will put me over. Oh my God, Charles. Yeah, exactly. This is so parasocial. You know, I'm trying to make this as parasocial as possible. So the feelings that I have for you are real, gamers. Oh, that's not gonna be enough. God damn it. All right. That will. Hell yeah. All right. So now, go back this way. And then I think all we have to do, now that we have the boss key, is get to that ding-dang boss. Oh, missed it. Nice. All right. I'm gonna be real with y'all. My legs are starting to get a little tired. But you know what? We're gonna keep pushing through. Because you deserve that. You deserve a streamer who goes the full way, who destroys their own body for your enjoyment. You get it. It's all for you. I'm doing this for you. Doing this for you, baby. And then I just made fun of being super parasocial. And then look at me. I'm being parasocial too. There is, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, yeah. There is a fairy, right, in one of these, usually. It's been a hot minute. We gotta catch that sucker. Yeah, come here. If you've never played a Zelda game before, that's the staple of Zelda games, is the fairies. As in real life too, you know. Gotta have your fairies. But if you die, it's basically just like an extra life, and they'll heal you up for. It depends on the game, but they'll heal you so you don't die immediately. There we go. There's the tail I was talking about, and here's the creature that's been tugging on it. Dang. JV, I still have not seen that link. If you're still in here, how dare. I don't know if you sent it to me in Discord or not, but send it to this chat. Can I do that? Oh, nope. How do I do this? Oh, Jesus. Oh, okay, I got it. Got it. Oh, shit. Yep. That's right. I remember this now. So we... Oh, yeah. See, like, Link isn't helping either, you know? Oh. That was... So we crack this dude's shell, and then we can fist fight him. We can go fisticuffs with him. Ah, god damn it. Alright. The stream is moving really slow. I'm gonna try closing some stuff here. I have been doing this for 2 hours, so... You did send it. JV, you did send it in there. We may go through it. We'll see. I'm just gonna close all that. We'll need music later. And we'll just keep that stuff. And I am gonna close Discord, so if you're messaging me on Discord while we're doing this, just be aware. I ain't gonna see it. Cool. Let's see if that helps. Not at all. Ugh. Whew. Looks like it's sped up a little bit. Yeah, I'm wondering, because I've got it set to... The stream is set to 4K for me, so I've got it upscaled. So I'm sure it's partly that. But, like, also, when it comes to that... Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay. Alright. Alright, gamer. Alright. So I'm sure, like, part of it is because I'm just going, like, hardcore with the graphics, pushing it to its limits. But yeah, it's just like, I think this is one of those games where, while you're playing, okay, what do we got? Okay. Hold on. Now I gotta be a real gamer here. There we go. But like the frame rate is tied to, or the physics are tied to the frame rate. So if you start getting a lower frame rate, the game starts moving slower too. Games that come to mind that do that are like a lot of like roguelikes do that a lot. So like Binding of Isaac, if I'm not mistaken, does that. But it's really meant to like make sure that like you still have the chance to succeed in a game. And hell yeah, we did it, gamers. We did it. I said we're gonna beat this dungeon before the end of the workout. Oh hell yeah, we did it. All right, we're not doing a 3-heart run because I am what we call in the industry a little bitch. So we are gonna grab as many heart containers as humanly possible. Oh, dang. Whew. Alright, now I do see who followed me earlier. Kelbelqua, if you're still in here, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. Hell yeah, y'all. We did it. We did it. We did it, gamers. So, beat it by 10 minutes 10 minutes faster than I expected. So we're gonna really push ourselves the next 10 minutes. Yeah. Give me your orb, child. I want the fucking orb. Give me your orb. Aww. Oh, dang. Whew. All right. Oh, hell yeah. I did hit my weekly workout goal just now. My phone is excited for that fact. And guess what? Guess what, gamers? We're gonna, I think, I have a, maybe I don't have one no, I have one set for tomorrow. So after, tomorrow we'll also have a stream, but it's gonna be just this section of it. We're not gonna do the full 3-hour stream. We'll just do the workout, so you can join me then. And then Friday, we're gonna do the stream, and we're also gonna do movie nights. So we'll choose a movie probably in the next couple days, and then we'll just watch it. You just need to make sure that you have a Amazon Prime subscription, and we'll just do a watch party, right? So y'all will be able to watch it alongside me directly in here, and then we're back onto it on Sunday. So I'm stoked. We're almost through the week. Feels good. Oh. Heart rate 140. Oh. All right. I forget. Is there anything else that we need to do in here? I don't think so. But let's go talk to this dude. Does this dude have tattoos? Oh hell yeah, dog. Same. We have matching tattoos. Oh, his tattoo looks like the beast that we killed. Oh, he's got a job interview. Oh. I'm sorry, dude. You gotta climb. Alright. What do we think? Since we've got another 10 minutes of this workout here, I don't think there's much else that we can do here. Okay, what did he say? Wind blows to the south. Yeah, yes, I know, I already got it. Yeah, we got, okay. Yeah, let me in your body. Let me in your bod. Oh, is it not gonna let me in until they're pointed south? That's dumb. Whew. Pointed south. Hell yeah. Alright. Oh my goodness. Now are you gonna let me into your bod? Yeah, okay, so now you let me get into your bod. I could have done it from here. Arbitrary rule, Grandpa. Arbitrary fucking rule. Alright. Alright, I think we'll just get to the next island. Perfect time. Oh. Here? Oh, it's a fish. It's got some treasure, too. Open my sea chart. Oh, he's gonna put something in it, right? Oh, he's gonna paint something on it. That's right. Peculiar cave towards the backside of this here Dragon Roost Island. You'll ever get there to see it. Small fry unless you manage to sprout wings and fly, that is. I'm getting there otherwise. Did I get... Oh, that's right. Isn't that where the big Jabu fish is? And I think I got some... Yeah, I did get some bait, so... but we're gonna go straight for the next island. We're gonna skip whatever dude wanted us to do. We're gonna go. We're gonna go straight there. Hell yeah. Oh, I'm not paying attention at this point. Oh, so now that I have the crane, I can use the claw machine to grab stuff from underwater. Cool. That's very important for like end game stuff where you're getting the Triforce pieces, because you have to get them from under the freaking ocean, and you have to find a bunch of like treasure maps. You have to go all over the place to find them. And I know in the HD version, the one that we're playing here, they've updated that so that you don't really have to worry about it too much. Oh, damn. We're good. Oh my gosh. Don't hate me. I look at my watch. My heart rate's at 115. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life, gamers? Oh. Oh. Yeah, and I mentioned it yesterday, but fun fact, the reason why like everything is so spread out in this game with the water is because this is a glorified loading screen for the game. This allowed the game to load slowly via the GameCube, since it was still a disk drive and the disk was really slow. Which is a fun little fact there. But in the new game, it isn't, the HD version, that isn't necessary as much to have so much time for loading. So, oh shit. Let's steer clear of that, huh? So there wasn't as much of a need for loading, so what they did is they gave you a much faster sale if you want to grab it. I haven't grabbed it yet. I can't remember exactly where. And maybe we'll, for this next, tomorrow when we play, maybe we will go through and figure out how to get the swift sale. Oh, buddy. All right. Getting close. 4 more minutes. So I'll push nice and hard. And we're going to that island. Right? I think so. Oh, it's both the islands. That's right. So, kind of minor spoilers, but there was something that was found in this section of the game that wasn't ever known until very, very recently, where somebody tested something and it worked, and it's a really cool, like, programmed into the game thing that we're gonna try to do, and it rules. And they tested it originally on the GameCube and it worked there, and then they came back for the HD version and it was still in this game. So it's definitely something that was coded into the game, but spoiler alert, we'll get to that when we get to the next dungeon, which it looks like we're getting close. The next item is the leaf that we get, and it allows us to kind of like fly around a little bit and blow gusts of air, which makes a reappearance in a few of the games, but most notably in Breath of the Wild. Pretty fun there. So I think, y'all, we're getting close to the end here. I'm gonna save it here. What do we think? I'm 2 minutes. I'm 2 minutes short. So we're gonna pedal as fast as we can for 2 minutes.
This was a good one, a good workout. Kind of got a little exhausted towards the end, but I think that's because I've been working out so consistently lately. And just as kind of like a reminder here, as we finish up this bike ride, we're going to take a quick little 5-minute break. I'm going to go take a shower so I'm not stanky. And we'll come back and we are going to spend some time with editing The Weird. Famous TTRPG The Weird. We're gonna get funky with it. Oh, I'm sorry. I love y'all. I'm not doing that. No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna push through. Gotta push through. Heart rate's still 120, so we're good. All right. Gotta be close, right? The longest minute possible. And once I see that 5, I'm out of here. All right, y'all. This has been an absolute blast. See you in a few minutes. Hell yeah. Woo! Hello, gamers. Oh, that's a little spicy there. We got that spicy audio. Shower has been completed. Mr. Lanfear, thank you so much for the follow. You beautiful, beautiful man. Cool. So we talked news. We did an hour-long workout, and now we're gonna spend some time editing the Weird. So if you're not familiar with the Weird is a Powered by the Apocalypse style game with a theme that's very similar to like X-Files or Twin Peaks. Very centered around like conspiracy theories and really built to not necessarily fight monsters, but really to solve mysteries. So today we're going to rework a little bit the item system. Now, I'm not going to be spending a bunch of time writing out items because I think that that's not enjoyable. I don't think any one of us would be like, oh, and we need a flashlight, those kinds of things. But I think like just reworking how the mechanics work and make it a little bit more clear for the audience what we're trying to do there. So, and also I'm going to order food because this is probably going to go longer than the hour that I had planned, and I haven't had dinner. So, what do we think? What are we thinking, gamers? What sounds good for dinner? Oh. And the bitrate for this is kind of low today. So hopefully the stream looks good. Hopefully it sounds good. But I think it's good. We ran into a lot of, like I mentioned earlier, we got a lot of snow in Colorado, which I lost internet for a good portion of the morning this morning, and some people lost power from what I understand. Not fun. But we're Coloradoans. We know how to deal with that stuff. We get through. We survive. Survive. Cool. I'm gonna do a few things. I'm gonna fix the stuff here a little bit before we jump in. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump in here and fix the browser screen, but I don't want to do it just yet, just so I don't accidentally dox myself. Just not doxing things. But we're gonna pull up. You know what? It's gonna probably be easier if I just. No, that's too easy. So we're gonna have two screens. You get dual screens here, gamers. Basically one screen is going to be, the one on top is going to be the current game as it stands. The bottom one is going to be a Google Doc. Fun times. But it's taking its sweet time to load. Do that. We're going to do that. Bring that over here so I can order food. And I know you can't see anything. This is super exciting. Fast internet of your dreams. I know. I should have. We will do this at the studio. Maybe not necessarily the workout portion of this show, but unless you want sweat all over our brand new studio at Loudspeaker, loudspeaker.fm. If you want some great tunes, great podcasts, check out Loudspeaker. I'm sure the people who are watching the stream right now know about Loudspeaker, but if you don't, it is a nonprofit here based out of Northern Colorado, focused on giving platforms to individuals of underserved communities. So really focused on POC communities, focused on. Oh, that's right. .org. It's a nonprofit now, so we got .org. But if you go to .fm, it still works, but .org. Pulling up this other screen here, letting it load. Oh my God, that's not what I want. Yeah. Here's a thing that I have a problem with. So on this new computer that I built, I've got Windows 11, right?
Um, oh, and my internet was out. Oh yeah, yeah, totally. Um, but um, oh my gosh, hold on. Oh my, so it's trying to load it in InDesign, which I don't want it to do. But here's a problem that I have with Windows 11 is I, right click and open with a program, right? It'll open up another screen to click it again. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Cool. So we're going to do another window capture here. Bring that on top. I'm going to do a new source. This is super exciting for those listening. But I'd rather do this than have dead air. You know what would have been a smart idea? Have this prepared beforehand. But you know what? YOLO. Cool. So I'm going to bring the dock a little bit smaller overall. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Or yeah, so make me a bit smaller there. Cool. Now we got ourselves, I think I can switch this over now. Make sure I'm in the right place for it. And ta-da! We got ourselves what we're looking for here. Look at that, gamers. We got ourselves the TTRPG. Now, you'll notice a few things, and we'll kind of go through this here. The quality of the image of the front page kind of lowered drastically with the new version. What happened was I had a hard drive that failed with the image that it was connected to with all the Photoshop stuff. So this got lost to corruption, and I no longer have it, unfortunately. So in a future update, we will probably create a new artwork. Probably something similar. I really like this idea, but we may go with something else. I really like how this feels like a cheap used book that you would find at a used bookstore. I really like that vibe of this. Cool. But we're going to go to the section with items, which is very well organized in here. We got item tags. I think that's where it should be, right? Oh, item tags, basics, item tags. Experience points, experience leveling, page 20. Cool. It's been a hot minute since I've looked in here. Just one of the reasons why I wanted to jump in here. So tags here, we updated tags pretty recently, and we added a bunch of new tags. So there's a bunch of really cool stuff in here that you can do to add to items. And what's cool is with some of the classes that we have in the game, some of the classes have their own tags, which allow them to do other things with items. So pretty snazzy stuff there. But today we're going to be focused on the experience and leveling section, and we're just going to figure out how XP plays into how items work, right? So one of the core concepts of the game is instead of currency, instead of leveling up, you use your experience points to buy items. So, and some other things that the game does have as well is like it allows you to give up their character sheet. So if they want to play a different character, which is strongly encouraged, especially in this like episodic nature of the show, or this game. If you give up your character, you get extra experience points. And I have it set at 3, which is like an extra item here. I think we may change that as well down the road. Maybe make it a little bit more, like some more incentive to give up your character. But 3, if we were to do 5, which is just like a really like solid item that gives a benefit, I don't really think like long term for the game, characters would have probably too much experience. So that's something that we'll definitely need to consider. So I'm gonna paste all this in, and we're gonna jump in. Now, something that I also want to do real quick before we mess around with this too much, because we're going to be talking about gameplay more than anything, I would like to spend a little bit of time and let's see if this works. You should, in just a second, hear some music. Ooh. I'll keep it there, and I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Let me know if it's too loud compared to my voice in the chat. It looks pretty good on my end, but I just want to make sure that, it's not too loud overall. Cool. Actually, I'm going to turn it down a little bit for myself. Which I can actually do. There. Yeah, so some of the things that we run into issues with, right? So when you have one experience and you use it for roleplay stuff, right? There isn't really a purpose for spending one experience point. There isn't really like an incentive for players to spend that point just to get a roleplay item, right? So this is one of the things that, I've seen in our game, the podcast that we do, where it's just like spending the experience to buy things. It doesn't really happen. It doesn't really incentivize them to purchase things to really level up their characters. But also, Megan and Scotty are big dinguses, and I'm sure they just forget about experience altogether when it comes to the game. So, which is, valid, I guess. I'm not going to call them out. I am going to call them out. But anyways, so jumping in here, so like junk that could benefit certain roles in certain situations but has drawbacks. So we have like these point structures, which really doesn't really give players, like it doesn't tell people what they're going to get. So we're going to change this up. We're going to do 1 XP. We're going to do 2 XP. And I want to know what you guys think too. If you guys have any ideas about cool things that we could do, I would love to hear it. And if we use them in the game, we will make sure to put you in the final book, which is exciting. Cool. So, with that being said, I think we still need a place to buy role-playing stuff, right? We need a spot in here to allow characters to buy a flashlight, to buy things, and I think that this is still valid, right? Having 1 XP to buy something that allows them to roleplay is valid, but it needs to be more than that, so they spend something. And I think like for this 1 XP, we should also add something extra, and one of the thoughts that I have is to add something that's in the 2 XP right now, which is just like things that is like very risk reward. But what I'm thinking is like adding items that have like more of a risk than a reward over everything. So, and we'll play with that a little bit while we're going here. So, we're gonna add. We're going to add roleplay stuff, and we're going to add heavy risk, light reward items. Cool. So, and then when we jump into 2, so then this one here previously was older weapons with problematic tags. I don't think that can help with rolls, but break after use. Which I think, honestly, breaks after use should be 1 XP because you're just getting rid of it, right? So, like we said, older weapons, problematic tags, items that can help with rolls but break after usage, a costume trunk. I like the costume trunk in here for 2, but like it doesn't allow for like, it's just an item that it would fit in this section but wouldn't necessarily work. So let's add, we're gonna do for sure light risk, medium reward. Let's do this. We'll just say medium risk, medium reward items. So it's just like kind of like a 50-50 if it really gives any like significant benefit, right? We're gonna add that. We're gonna add items with I would say like, I don't like the word problematic because it's like we're not adding like a tag that plus, you know, plus racism. We're not adding that kind of tag. I don't think problematic is the word here that we're looking for. But items with negative tags. And then I think like multiple uses. Cool. So then when we get to 3, where it's at in the game itself, like it gets a little bit more heavy into like the role-playing side of things. God, that I hear you gamers, and I understand that what I just said may sound a little horny, but that wasn't what I was going for. But we are leaning a little bit into roleplay today. A new contact that can be used for your benefit. Access to the internet. I don't like that. Healing items. I do like healing items here. And like contacting equipment. God, this is why we're doing this today. This is released out into the wild. I felt comfortable releasing this to people and having them use this. So we're gonna add for sure healing items. Now, question. I want to hear from y'all if you're at a place where you can type. What do you think like 3 XP, so like 3 failures in rolls will get you healing items, or would it be like 2 XP gets you a healing item? So every 2 that you fail, you get something that kind of gives you some health in case you're dying. I would love to hear what you think. I'm still kind of leaning towards 3, but like also, yeah, we'll keep it at 3 for now. But I would love to hear what you think and what sounds reasonable to you. So, healing items. We've got items with light risk, high reward. All right. So that even when you're using these items, that there's still a chance for it to fail a little bit, but it's one of those things that can still benefit the player when they utilize this item. And then access to the internet sucks. I would say new way to communicate with your party. Phone, radio, etc. So I like that. I like the ability to like give your players some other way of communicating, and especially if it's like a tool that can potentially break when you're trying to communicate with them in certain spots. That's always fun as, you know, somebody who does like, you know, if you're heavy into like the if you're heavy into the role play, I know what I'm saying. I know what's coming out of my mouth right now. I get it. I do have a nondescript electrolyte beverage. I hope you can't hear me like slurping into the microphone. I have like severe misophonia, and if I was like sitting with somebody and they could just hear like the Gatorade just like slurping down my throat, I think I would die personally. But, you know, if that's the case, I apologize. So I think like when it comes to the 3 XP, I like the multiple uses of items. I like the idea that this item can break if but can always be repaired. Right? So yeah, pretty straight self-explanatory, but just like an item that like in an episode when you're DMing, that item can no longer be used during that episode, but the player can like come back through at the beginning of the next episode and be able to use it, kind of like spell slots a little bit. Wait, can I say spell slots with D&D? Other games have slots for spells. I'm being ridiculous. But as we also learned earlier, that it may not even matter, because like the rules of D&D cannot be copyrighted. Only like the characters, settings, art, but the rules themselves can't copyright it. Cool. Good to know. Yeah, I like that where that's at right now. Christopher Lanfear, spell slut. Did I say spell sluts? Slots, as in like, hi, it's me, the spell slut. You know what? Honestly, merch-wise, having spell sluts, no, that's nothing. That's nothing there. There's. All right, let's move on. So 5. So weaponry that works. Oh my god. Upgrading your vehicle in a significant way. Items that help with rolls in a significant way. I think when we jump in here, weaponry that works. I you know what, in here too, I would say a low powered weapon. Let's say +1 harm. +1 harm. Or +2 harm with negative tags. So like this would be like, you know, +1 harm for this item. Just like a regular like bat or something like that. But you can also get something that's a little bit upgraded, like a revolver. Like an old revolver that, you know, can be a little bit more loud, especially I think would be a good like negative tag to have there. Weaponry that works. I'm still on this. This sucks so bad. Upgrading your vehicle in a specific way. Well, that's the problem with this, right? Upgrading your vehicle in a significant way. This was written when there were 2 classes to this game. We now have 10 classes in the game. Some classes don't necessarily get a vehicle. So having this in here doesn't necessarily fit. But I would say like adding this to the list is good, but not having it just be these 3. right? New location within your base. Oh, this sucks so bad. I'm like cringing at how like terrible this is for players. Like this gives directors like no room to like create, and I'm sure like everybody's tables right now are, you know, nobody's buying stuff with experience points. So 5. I think if you use 5, you get an item that gives consistent +1 benefit to a specific roll. Then we should say like max +3. So there should always be a point of failure in the game, right? And when you think about it, +3, if you're rolling, that means there's only 2 possible rolls that you can get where it's a complete failure. That's just going to be 2 1s, or a 1 and a 2 will mean a complete failure. So out of the 12, that's 1/6 of the time that you'll have like a complete failure in a roll with when you get max 3 of something. So I think that is reasonable overall, and I think like from what I've seen, a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse games kind of do similar stuff overall. So where's my face? There we are. All right. So we got that. We've got, I would say, like a medium powered weapon, right? Weapon, which gives like +2 harm, right? Or +3 harm with negative tags. Now, what I've been doing some like interesting things with some of the classes. Obviously, I've been doing some really shit things with these classes, y'all. No, I've been doing some interesting things with some of the classes, especially when it comes to like being able to re-roll in a lot of circumstances. And I think that this may be an interesting place to add a single-use item that allows you to re-roll a failed roll. What do you guys think? Also, what am I doing for food? I was like, you know what, maybe I'll cook tonight, but since we're going to be on the stream for a little bit longer than what I had originally planned, I'm going to do some food. I had burgers the other night. I've been on a sandwich kick lately. So maybe some like Asian? Yeah, let's just do some Asian. Why not? Let's get funky with it. Ooh, you can do some bao, some fried bao. Yep, that's the play. That is the play, gamers. We'll do some bao. We'll do something to snack on. No, I've got snacks here. I gotta do something else, right? Yeah. And pot stickers. We'll do pot stickers, and we'll do bao. This is so intriguing, I'm sure. So in the stream today, I was also supposed to stream to both YouTube and Facebook. Had it set up properly, but for some reason, Facebook and YouTube have both failed with their streams. So that's something that I'll mess around with. And another thing that I wanted to do, I mentioned it during the workout, but one of the things that I wanted to do was let's do that. Was to stream to TikTok as well. So I can't stream directly to TikTok currently, but I've got 13,000 followers on TikTok, and I have no idea what I want to use them for, like how to utilize that audience. So that's another thing that I think definitely needs to be figured out. Okay, food has been ordered. We're good to go. We're good to go, gamers. Alrighty. For 5 experience points, I want like a couple more ideas for things that we can add in there. So I like the upgrading the vehicle in a significant way. I would say like maybe like if we go to the tags, right, which are here, are there any tags in here that would fit you know what? I think this is a good idea. Add a positive tag to a mode of transportation, I think would fit. So like you could add like your scooter has, plus static, or like, I don't know, plus communicate. It has like a GPS on it, something along those lines that like allow the vehicle to have like more interesting things, or like bright or speed, tags like that I think would fit pretty well. And I think like moving forward too, like I will also go in a little bit further with these tags and how they're laid out and what each tag means. But I think like add a permanent I can't spell tonight, positive tag to your mode of transportation. I would say with this too is max 3. Max 3 new tags. Adding plus fix to like your van to allow you to have like something in the back of the van that allows you to like fix items quick. I think that would be pretty cool. So there's some cool stuff that we can do there. Items that help with rolls in a significant way. I hate this so much. Alrighty. Single-use item that allows players to re-roll a failed roll. Add a permanent positive tag to your mode of transportation, max 3. Weaponry that works. So we got the medium powered weapon here. Cool. So I'm gonna add one more. Any thoughts? I'll take a poll from the audience if anybody wants to add something. Totally understandable if you don't have the creativity tonight to do it. I'm not forcing you either, hopefully. All right. So, I love the 10 XP ones. So like a bonus move from a different playbook is awesome. So that one for sure stays. Bonuses to rolls. God. Heavy weaponry. So I think like a heavy powered weapon. plus 3 harm, or plus 4 harm with negative tags. I like the new location, but like we don't. So this was kind of inspired by how Monster of the Week handles their stuff, which is really heavily focused on like base building and having like interesting structures within your base that you can add for like roleplay purposes. And I don't think that necessarily fits here. I think is it too overpowered to have this be 10 experience? That's 10 failed rolls. Is it too much to say that you can revive characters with 10 experience? Yeah, that's not I don't like that. I do like the 20 XP here. You can get like play as a second character. I think that rules. I think that is a very cool thing that you can do there. Because you have to like consider too that like players will probably want to like have some extra items throughout this process, just to build up their like arsenal of stuff. So that 20, they have to like really hold that close to the chest. But with that being said, like if players pool their funds together, that may be a problem with the 20. So that's something that we'll just have to deal with in the future. So, but grab the second playbook and play as 2 separate characters. Revive a dead character? No. I think death should be important to this game. I don't think characters should be able to be revived unless it's under very specific circumstances. What do you guys think? I'm really digging the lo-fi vibes tonight. It's really nice and chill. I'm here for it. A new mode, 10 experience. That's 10 failures. And like if you think about it, you add a baseline, right? You have a 50-50 chance of failing versus some level of success in the game. 10 of those, I think what I'm going to add here in a second is like a new form of transportation. But like I'm worried. Yeah, let's add it here. A new form of transportation. So like if the players need a new car, right? This will allow them to do so in a significant way. But like that kind of like that, if you pull that thread a little bit, right, about like, oh, it costs 10 experience points to get a car, what does that actually get the players? And so those are more the very like gamifying questions come in. It's like, how can you actually say that is something that players will actually want to purchase with 10? And I think it's a good idea, but what that means is really like honing in on what a vehicle means to the party. And with that too, part of that is like going back and re-looking at the Fed, right? Does that warrant like getting a vehicle? Does that warrant 10 experience points for that class right off the bat? 'Cause that's a pretty big thing there. Anyways, we'll keep a new form of transportation on there now, but it's something that's definitely going to have to be addressed down the line. This is where we push everything. Just got to push it down the line. We'll fix it in post. Man, honestly, I'm frustrated that like the Facebook stream didn't go through. I had a really good, I don't know. Actually, I'm going to share another screen here in a second. But I had this really good thumbnail made and stuff too. It's like I was definitely like playing the YouTube game with my thumbnail. Let's see if I can switch. Oh, this one. Okay. We're gonna switch this to it's fine. I'll send it later. It's not popping up for me. Okay, that's fine. Sad day, but I've got a really, really solid thumbnail that really looks like a Mr. Beast thumbnail. And I was like, all right, gonna try to play the game a little bit, try to play the YouTube algorithm game, because thumbnail and description is vitally important to that platform. Like if you don't have quality thumbnails, you're really setting yourself up for failure, because all that matters is truly getting that click through, and then it's the content, right? Focusing on quality content at that point. Cool. All right, let's get back into this. Bonus move from a different playbook, love that. Bonuses to rolls, love that. Heavy weaponry, love that. New location within your base, love that. I would say also, I'm just gonna add this in here, one additional roll via the God box without it escaping. So if you're not familiar with the game, right? The God box is our cool little tool that allows the play. It's kind of like if you were to think about like Monster of the Week. The God box is a tool that allows the players to kind of have like a luck system, being able to like succeed or be able to like get information that they may have gotten or may have failed with previously. And your players have a cumulative 7 uses until it escapes. No matter how well they roll, they get one step closer to whatever is inside escaping. So there are limited uses to this until something breaks bad, right? They do... Here, hold on real quick. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I don't want to sneeze directly into the microphone. That sounds like horrible audio. But having that extra use, I think, would be very beneficial, because another thing in the future, when this is updated a little bit more, I really want to like make the God Box something that has bite, something that has a lot of use to it, but if you actually use it, you can really screw yourself over. And that's something that like I really like about this game, is it really, and I don't do this well on my table, but it really allows for the director, the dungeon master, to have some really interesting tools at their disposal to really push their players into difficult places, and really challenge their players. And so, because it's focused more on like mystery solving, you really need to have something that really switches up, because there isn't that focus on combat. Here's the problem with working out at 8 o'clock at night. I am up super late. I have so much energy at that point, and it's a problem. So who knows? Maybe the streams will be earlier in the day. I think this is good. So grab a second playbook and play as 2 separate characters. Yeah, I think that fits with our goals when it comes to experience, right? So let's go through it again. Make sure it reads well. A roleplay stuff. Heavy risk. I'm gonna go through this and rewrite these after the fact to make it read a little bit better. Heavy risk, light reward items. Now let's talk about this real quick. So, heavy risk, light reward items. What does that mean? So we have a lot of like risk reward stuff in the game. With classes, you know what? I'm gonna go back real quick because there was something that we forgot to add. Cool. I'm just adding the additional like person that you can communicate like NPC wise who will help you with intel. So I think like when it comes to, in the end, if we boil everything down with this game, right? Every decision is based off of it's based off of the 2d6, right? And 50% of the time, 7 to 12, you get the chance to well, a little bit more than 50% of the time. So 7 to 12, you get the ability to succeed or have like a mixed success, which allows like some portion of a success. And then 2 to 6, right? Or 1 to 6 or 0 to 6, depending on, you know, your bonuses, allows you to fail. It's a complete failure. So with that being said, when we have heavy risk, light reward, right? So risk reward, I think in this case we should consider like what this allows the director to do with the game, right? So like in this case, and we'll play with this probably down the road, but I really like the idea of allowing the director to, let's say, like, bonus to your roll, but allows the director to change one of your future successes into a failure. Ooh, I love that. Okay, that's a good like risk to take. Like, I've got 1 XP, I've got this item. Yeah, I love that. So then allows the director to, like, oh, if it's like a gun that has, like, you know, it's really broken, really allows them to take that and, like, have it, like, explode in their pocket or something like that. Medium risk, medium reward. What does that mean? So bonus to your roll, but take a negative on a future roll if you fail. I like that. So basically, it's still kind of similar to this, but it's less problematic. Not problematic. I need to stop saying that. But it's less of a negative aspect to your role. Light risk, high reward. Now, what are some things that we can kind of do going back through here? I'm just reading through everything here. I would say, like, bonus to your roll, but take harm. Yeah. What's the higher one here? Is it taking a negative on a future roll is the more risk, or is it taking some harm? I think for me, it's going to be probably taking harm, right? Cool. I like that. That feels good. I think that's about it, y'all. I was expecting this to take a little bit longer, but I think we have updated the game of the weird. some better experience points and how to use them. Man. Yeah. Yep, I'm gonna just keep saying yep for a little bit longer until I turn off the stream. All right, let's finish this up, y'all. All right, this has been an absolute blast today. The workout was really nice. I got some good cardio in. Let's actually take a. Oh yeah, I do have it right here. So let's take a look at how many. Oh wait, why are we doing that? All right, we're checking here to see what we're at with how many zone minutes we hit. Still syncing. Anyways, besides from that, great workout. We got a lot of breaking news that happened earlier today. A lot of crazy stuff. And then we got the game. We got the game updated. So very productive day. Let's take a look real quick to see what our schedule is for the rest of the week. I think tomorrow we do have a workout planned, right? So I think tomorrow. Yeah, let's go to the channel here. Oh my gosh. So check out my schedule. Okay, so the rest of the week, right? So we've got tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing a workout for an hour. It's just going to be the shorter stream. And then Friday nights, we're going to be doing the full show. It's going to be a little bit longer. Friday night's going to be breaking news. It's going to be the cardio, so the workout. And then we're going to do a bad movie night. So just keep in mind when it comes to the bad movie night, it's going to be through Amazon Prime. So you do need to have an Amazon Prime account. Otherwise, unfortunately, you won't be able to watch the movie with us. But we'll be able to do it together, which is going to be really nice. We can do it on the stream, which is going to be really stinking cool. So that was enough talking there. We've got 60 minutes of workout today. We hit our goal for the week already. Congrats. We hit our water goals. We did pretty good. Pretty stinking good. So anyways, y'all, this has been an absolute blast. Hope you're having a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow.